How you doing, everybody? I'm Daryl, the Bearded Dragon with dadsatdragons.com, and welcome to the Hoard. I'm not even going to count the episodes anymore because I don't remember how many there are, and new medicine's messing with my brain and all that stuff.
I think it's 3.
It's 3? Episode 3? All right, let's go with it. Welcome to episode 3 of the Hoard. And in this episode, it's a special episode, kind of like how last week was a special episode. It's just a series of special episodes.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. We're about special episodes here.
That's right, because we can do whatever we want. That's the thing that I like about this show.
Well, it's whatever you want.
It's whatever I want, because you just do what I tell you.
Pretty much.
Anyways, today we're going to be looking at Mage's Tale specifically, because that's the big game that came out this week. But before we do that, Nathan, why don't you tell the folks at home why you're wearing a dress?
Well, you see, Daryl, this is my party dress.
Is it?
And I always wear it when I meet with fantastic people. And just recently I've met with a few fantastic people. Some
like
people
me? Like how you're meeting with me right now?
Yeah, you, of course.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
But the wonderful staff at North Huron.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard they're wonderful people.
They are wonderful people. And the people at Ice Culture. Did you know they have an ice castle inside their building?
I didn't.
It's pretty amazing. If you can get a tour, do it.
Ice Castle is in Hensel, Ontario. What are they called?
Ice Culture.
Ice Culture.
There is an ice castle.
There is an ice castle at Ice Culture in Hensel, Ontario. Chances are nobody watching this has any idea where that is, except for maybe our buddy Dave and Obi.
Yeah. However, because of Google, you never have to wonder anything again.
That's true. You can Google it. Anyways, that's enough of the intros. Let's move on to talking about this game.
Indeed.
So the reason why, so I decided to do the episode exclusively on Mage's Tale before I even played it, just because I saw how excited everybody was getting about it. I'm like, okay. And
not because he's too lazy to do 3.
That's true. It's not. Actually, I kind of wanted to throw in some more, but Nathan would have got upset because then the show was going to be longer than 15 minutes or something. So anyways, the reason I decided to is because it is, I don't want to say the first full-length game, but it kind of does feel that way. I mean, Arizona Sunshine is, I don't know how long that is because I haven't beat it yet, but it's pretty long anyways. But this one, it's just it's an RPG. It's actually, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on this show, but I'm a bit of a let me rephrase it. I'm a wannabe hobbyist game developer, and so I actually started trying to make a dungeon crawler first-person game because I was like, I just want one of these. And there was a game that came out called Crystal Rift way back. I think it was out on the DK1, but maybe DK2.
Crystal Rift or Crystal Meth?
Crystal Rift. Let's not talk about the other one.
All right, sorry.
Crystal Rift, and it was kind of it was a dungeon crawler, but it was a little bit different. This one feels more like a fully fleshed out. I don't know if I'd say AAA, but at least maybe AA. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but anyway, the game is really well made. It's highly polished. It's a lot of fun, and I just want to talk about that. So that's what we're going to talk about this week.
Sounds good. And like we said before, we do whatever Daryl says.
That's right. We do whatever I said. To be fair, though, just so everybody doesn't think I'm a big jerk, I did run this past Nathan, and I can show you the darn Facebook Messenger conversation.
Yeah, no, I totally agreed.
Yes, he agreed. He's always down for doing less work.
Yeah, and I know what happens when you refuse the Don.
That's right.
That's what we call him here.
We don't call me that. You could call me the D, because at least that
Don.
works. For Don?
Yeah.
For Don, for Daryl, for Dragon.
All of the above.
All of the above. Anyway, so Mage's Tale, basically, in case you're living under a rock and have no idea what Mage's Tale is about, it is a first-person dungeon crawling RPG-ish kind of game. It's described as an RPG. I'm not entirely certain that I would put it there. It's a dungeon
crawling RPG, but if you're looking for Skyrim, it's not here.
Yeah, it's not Skyrim, but it is still very satisfying. It's a long game. It's basically, I guess what I would say it is it's kind of like the dungeons of Zelda without the rest of the game, right? Or the dungeons of some other game that's like Zelda. But that's the one that I play that it kind of brings to mind, right?
Definitely dungeon crawler is an apt description, I think.
Yeah, and it's like you walk into the room and there's puzzles to solve and you don't really know how to do it, so you walk around, you figure it out. kind of trial and error stuff. But one of the things that I really love about it is while you're walking around trying to figure stuff out, you find like hidden things and paths and stuff like that. And one of the things I really hate in a video game is when you're offered two paths and you don't know which one to pick and you got to commit to one. And that happens quite a bit in this game. But thankfully, usually you end up, if you pick one, then it only goes so far, and then you get to go back and do the other one. And oftentimes you have to do both before you can progress, but you get to choose which one you do first. So.
Yeah. And I mentioned Skyrim earlier, and I'm also a big fan of Fallout. Like basically all Bethesda games I totally love. But one of the things I like about those games, which this game also has, is the Easter eggs. Like little surprises here and there. Like when you, should I mention anything? I don't know. Spoiler alert.
It's a mild spoiler probably.
Yeah, mild spoiler alert. But if you pick up the magic mushrooms and you eat them, you actually it gets into like a Jimi Hendrix riff, which is hilarious.
Yeah. So obviously my first thought was, I wonder if I can eat this mushroom, and then I wonder if I'll trip out and stuff when I do, right? And instead of making the screen go all wonky and stuff like that, it just lays into this wicked riff that you'd probably.
And because you have hands, you immediately have to do the guitar motions.
Yeah. So it's pretty awesome in that regard. Yeah. And there's lots of cool things like that. There's you want to look everywhere. There's that one door. Right near the beginning, there's a door on the left, and there's a pit behind you. And you look down the pit, and there's this giant creature claws at you, and then fire comes shooting up. So of course you pull away.
Yeah.
Well, if you're brave enough to look down in there, well, you may just find something interesting down there, right?
You might.
And the game is full of things like that. You're not even thinking, oh, I'm in an area where something's going to happen, and what you do is you find a secret or you find a collectible, and the collectibles are pretty cool because you got a room where you can go and view them. So there's the main game where you're in the dungeon, and then there's there's an actual name for it, but I can't remember what he calls it, where you make your spells and practice your
cauldron. It's the cauldron room. I don't know.
Yeah, the cauldron room. We'll call it that. I don't remember what it's actually called, but anyway, so. Basically, to get back there at any point in time, you just raise your hands up in the air, right? Yeah. And when you're in there, there's the main area where you make your spells, and you do that by mixing ingredients that you find throughout the game. Yeah. So if you're not looking, you're going to end up missing out on some spells too, right? I'm thinking maybe I want to go back to earlier levels and see if I've, unlocked new areas because I've got new spells now, or maybe I just missed stuff because I wasn't being thorough enough because I didn't realize you needed to be at the beginning, right?
There's something that we haven't mentioned yet.
What's that?
The enemies and their smack talk.
That's true. It's funny.
The funniest one. So funny.
The funniest one. What is it? I can smell you, sausage, or something like that.
I can smell you, sausage.
I can smell you, sausage. Yeah, and it's in sort of Gaelic Irish accents too, which is really funny.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of Gaelic, the load screens, beautifully sung by, I don't know what the name of do you know the name of the singer?
I don't.
Apparently she's some very famous Gaelic composer, as famous as Gaelic composers can be.
Yeah. No, I don't know about, I was reading or was I watching? I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, it's an interview with one of the designers of the game. I think I was watching it. I think I was watching Upload VR play this game.
He's making it up right now.
I was watching Upload VR play this game before it came out, and they were sitting with one of the designers, and anyway, they asked what it was like to work with this guy, so I assume it's somebody that they knew who he was, right? I've never heard of him, or her, I'm not sure.
Her.
Well, there was a girl singing, but I'm not sure that she's the one that composed.
Are you saying women can't compose? He just said women can't compose.
I didn't say that. I just said I don't think that she did. Anyways, whatever. Yes, and you get to listen to it for a long time.
Yep.
Long time.
Especially if you have a graphics card like ours, I hear.
Well, and again, I don't know for sure what is causing it. It might be the CPU, it might be the graphics card. But there seems to be problems on some people, and I happen to be one of them, where it's obsessively.
And it's not everybody's problem.
No, because there's people on Reddit who say that they have 10-second load times, right? Whereas I actually recorded one today, and it was over 5 minutes long.
And it's almost as fun recording a load time of 5 minutes as it is just sitting through it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Now, I wasn't recording it specifically for that purpose. It just happened that I was recording while I was, recording gameplay, and then I had a load time, right? And
you were able to see the length of time.
Yeah. So really stupidly long load times.
Yeah, ridiculously long.
However, I've also seen the developer on Reddit talking about these load times, and he said, acknowledge that they're there and that it's not a problem for everyone and that they're going to work on it. Also, interesting, if you haven't been following this on Reddit, they are aware that people want full locomotion in this game. And I'll admit that I am one of those people. And it's weird because, I shouldn't say full locomotion because you kind of already have that, right? It's just in very jerky movements, right?
Yeah.
Smooth full locomotion is what I want, right? And actually, I don't even care about the turning.
You push the controller and you move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't even care about the turning because it's actually smooth turning depending on what game it's in. That can make me feel pretty awful. But just moving forward and backward.
Yeah, I found Minecraft, the full locomotion there to be a little unsettling.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game was fine. I was a little worried when I started doing it. So I'm like, this is like really stop. It's just going to bug me.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
You do kind of get used to it. And if you really don't like it, you have teleport option with your other hand, right?
Yep.
So you can just,
Yeah, you can teleport if you want. Yeah, for sure.
And actually, so I usually end up mixing and matching both of them. And then,
go ahead.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, it reminded me a little of the other Wizard game that we played not too long ago.
What one was that?
Wands?
No. That's in Gear VR. I don't know.
They had a tournament. What was it?
Oh, you mean Unspoken?
Unspoken. It reminded me a little of not the game itself, but like the way magic worked.
Okay, sorry. I thought we were talking about the way you walk around, right? So I'm like, you don't move in Unspoken, so I can't be talking about that.
My fault.
Okay. Yeah, it is. And actually, in that same interview, they talked about how Oculus got them in touch with with Insomniac. And so they talk to each other, and actually their shield that they have,
it's very similar.
They said originally it was the same color and everything, so it would have looked completely derivative. But they said Insomniac told them about it, and so they're like, okay, well, we'll change the color and stuff like that, right? So
that's cool. Yeah.
So they did do that. So they were aware that they were being made at the same time, but they weren't. Obviously, they weren't really thinking about.
Yeah, but there's some similarities, and probably it has to do with like they have the same limitations. They're working with the same things, so they probably come to the same solutions.
And there's really only so many ways that you can make magic happen in your hand, right? Obviously, one of them is pull the trigger to form a fireball and then throw it, right?
Yeah.
So that works. But I do like the things that they've added in, like the way that you can craft your spells. So you got your basic fireball, which you just throw, and it kind of goes roughly where you're looking, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the one where it'll seek the enemies, but it's not perfect.
You can like adapt your spells too in the cauldron.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that cauldron level where you can choose seek, or what was the other one? There's
seek, guide,
right? So it's like fire by wire. Right?
Well, what it is like, so let's say there's a bad guy right here, and I like doing this with guys with shields on it. So there's a guy holding a shield right there. You throw a fireball up in the air so it goes behind him, and then you look at him and it comes back and hits him in the back behind his shield, right?
Yeah, I never got that excited, or never got that far into it, but yeah.
This is why I was saying you needed to come play some more. Yeah.
You did say that I need to play more.
I did say that. So I've got a good 6 hours into this game. What have you got, Nathan?
Good hour? Maybe.
A little bit lower. You got 40 minutes.
Why don't you just tell them what color underwear I'm wearing?
I don't know what color underwear you're wearing.
Just tell them all my secrets right now.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not Nathan's fault. He's super busy with the awesome Wizard Festival that's being put on by Transfigured Town. Festival of Wizardry being put on by Transfigured Town in the town of Blythe, Ontario.
Which is an awesome town.
Yeah, that was a bit of a segue. Let's get back to the game.
That's the village, actually.
That's the village?
The village.
The village? Blythe is a village?
It is.
It is. Okay. Good. Can we go back to the game now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go back to the game.
You're the one who brought it there.
Yeah, I am. But I just thought, it was a good time to drop that in there and let people know.
And speaking of segue, back to the game.
Back to the game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the game. I had a lot of puzzle problems solving, like almost like Tomb Raider, or maybe even some of the level problems or solving levels. Problem solving, you might find in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Right, like where
I honestly haven't played enough Skyrim.
Yeah, it's like like large puzzles. You have to move this, move that, move this until you find the right combination, and then it all falls into place.
Yeah. Well, and I did one today that was really cool. It was like basically the whole dungeon was one big puzzle, right? And you had to sort of like, I mean, I guess you could do it in pieces, but there was like this one main piece in the middle that you had to solve, and to do that you go off into the wings, right? And then there was one where you had to pick up like this ball and then energize it, which opened up a door, and then go through that door and pick up another ball, which closed the door, and then you had to put, anyway, it was just really like, at first I was like, okay, this looks like it's gonna be easy, and then all of a sudden it got like, I'm like, oh man, I really gotta think here. Okay, so this does this, and you gotta really keep track of what does what, and the puzzles do get pretty deep. I mean, at the beginning they start out pretty easy, and of course, I like easy, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are like, oh man, this is way too easy. What? Anyway, so the puzzles do get more difficult for those who like it, and actually there has been at least one where I thought it was kind of a little bit too difficult, right? It basically came down to the only way I ended up solving it is just by like pretty much luck, really, in the end is what it was, because there was 6 buttons on the floor, and you had to like drop a weight on one and then stand on another one and then fire magic at certain things that required a certain kind of magic. And I mean, you knew that you had to throw magic at them. You just you weren't told exactly how, right? And it became just trial and error. I mean,
it basically took you 20 minutes. Probably would have took Jeremy, what, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no doubt. If I ever watch anybody do that puzzle, they'll get it. Like my 7-year-old son will do it in like 5 seconds. Yeah. But yeah, no, it took me forever to do it, and I was just getting frustrated by the end. But that's the only time, though. Oh, and sorry, I'm going to go back to the loading for a second here, because the one thing I do want to say about the loading is this game is good enough that I play it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing. Like when, like obviously with price, that's always a huge issue for me. Because, like not everybody gets free games, right? So that's a big deal for a lot of people. But at $45.99?
Yeah, $45.99.
$45.99. When I played it, I played with the super long load times. Like I think the music looped through at least once every time we loaded when I was playing.
Yeah.
And when I heard $45.99, I'm like, you know what? That's not bad for what we're getting. Yeah. Right. At first I'm like, oh well, they're not charging enough. I'm like, but the load times are stupid.
Yeah, but they're not affecting everyone either.
But if I didn't have the load times, if I was one of those people that had the computers that didn't have the crazy load times, I definitely would have said, well, this is way underpriced.
Yeah.
But at $45.99, I thought it was just fine at the price of that with the crazy load times. And
that's the thing, because okay, so let's be honest about something here. You and I are primarily console gamers, right?
Yep.
That's how we grew up. We grew up console gaming, right? We are not part
Except he liked Nintendo for some reason.
Except for during Sega Genesis.
Yeah, which was better.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what I had. Okay.
Yeah, everything Sega's better.
Right. Except for Sega stopped making consoles ages ago, so...
Yeah, and maybe not Sega Dreamcast, because that was a silly. Sega, what were you thinking?
Well, okay, that's off topic. We'll talk about that another time. The fact is that this is a game that I would not be... like, most VR games, I try to look at them and I'm like, if I had gone to the store and I bought this and I popped this into my console on a flat screen, would I still like this game?
Absolutely not.
And the last time I asked this game... or asked that about a game, it was Arizona Sunshine. I was just playing it the other day, and I'm like, is there enough going on in this game that if it wasn't in VR, would I still like it? And the answer for that is usually, and I think in the case of Arizona Sunshine, remains probably not. I probably wouldn't be okay with that, right? Especially not at full price, right? So the VR is definitely, in Arizona Sunshine, don't get me wrong, I love that game. But I love it because it's in VR and because it has a lot. But I think Mage's Tale, it has enough upgrading, it has enough puzzle solving, it has enough Crux, I think is his name, the guy who insults you all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's a really, it's good. I mean, it's a full game by any way you look at it, right?
Yeah, it's a full game.
And I would play it on a flat screen and still enjoy it. Yeah. And to me, that's the mark of a really good VR game, and possibly the first one I've played.
There's a lot of glitchy stuff that I would not forgive on a platform.
Well, like what? Like, what are you thinking?
Like like you're going through walls all the time. You're kind of sinking in the floor sometimes. Like there's a few things in there. Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
That never happens.
Especially at the beginning.
No.
I was like in my knees in the floor.
Well, that's really weird. That has never happened to me.
Well, I don't know if that was just my gameplay, but like...
That's probably more to do with my Rift at home
it might
messing
be.
up.
But again, like some people might have Rifts like your Rift at home, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to warn people. Like there are like you're setting them up to say this is a platform game.
Yeah.
I just want to warn people that I still don't think I don't think we're at the Skyrim level of games yet.
Oh, we're definitely not the Skyrim level.
Well,
game.
yeah.
All I'm saying is, if this game came to me on console, would I be happy with it paying that price for it? And I think yes, I would.
Yeah,
right? Like,
I wouldn't.
What's that?
I wouldn't.
No.
Nope. No. At $14.99, I'd pay that for a console game.
Why would you? Why do you think it's underpriced for VR then?
Because VR I feel like it has a lower bar.
Yeah.
A lower bar of success. Because like at this point, I feel like VR has 3D and there's more to work with. Like they got to do a lot more math. Obviously I don't know anything about game development, but
right.
I assume it takes a lot more to develop a VR game than it does to develop a game where your vision is fixed.
I don't know if it does or not, but anyway.
We bring Bethesda in here, they can tell us.
Yeah, maybe they could, or we could bring someone else. I don't really like Bethesda.
We'll bring them all.
I don't like Bethesda right
Don't
now.
say that.
You know what? I like Bethesda. I don't like their parent company very much right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the parent company, but
the parent company is trying to get Oculus to stop selling. It's trying to get an injunction against Oculus to make them stop selling their headsets, which would really screw us over.
I don't like that at all. But I do love Fallout 3.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that Nathan definitely should have taken my advice and come and played the game some more today, because he was obviously had a bad experience that
and Daryl should have taken my advice.
Has not been the case for me at all.
A little.
I should have.
A little. Not a lot.
I feel like it looks shorter today, but I didn't cut it. It just maybe it's just going back in. You know.
The long and the short of it.
It's rebounding.
Do you recommend this game?
Absolutely. I think if you have an Oculus Rift and you haven't bought this game, you're being silly and you need to go do it.
I would actually agree. Again, like this, I think will be the second game now that I've said that was appropriately priced.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would say this game's appropriately priced. At this price, it's worth it. I would pay. I'm cheap, and I would pay this price for the game.
I'm going to do everything I can to get Nathan to spend some more time in this game, so that next week we can have an update, and he can tell you how wrong he was to say that about this game. How dare you?
How dare I say that it's worth the price?
No, how dare you say that wouldn't be good on consoles?
Oh, I see.
That you'd be upset with it on, that you'd only pay $14 for it.
$14.99.
Come on.
99 cents.
Come on.
That's basically $15.
Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to drop in some game footage, some just straight gameplay for a little while. So if you want to stick around and watch that, that's cool. It's going to be here. If you don't, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, leave a comment down below letting us know what you think, and then take off. Hey, Hoser, you are dismissed.
Yeah, and if you're working for Bethesda, feel free to give us a call and drop in and tell us what you think.
Sure, if you want to. I'm down.
All right.
All right. See you next week.
See you next week.
Good luck.